Chinese-Filipino community in the Philippines has been prosperous and has exhibited a peaceful relationship since the country's rising from the ashes of war. This harmonious unity is the fruit of labor of one of the most charismatic Chinese leaders of that time. Born in the village of Gopo, Amoy, southern Fujian, China, and raised in Lucban, Quezon Province, Yao Shiong Shio, or Yao Naikun, fondly called YSS, dedicated his life for the public welfare until his death on November 14, 1998, just a week shy of his 96th birthday. Looking back, YSS was an influential figure in politics and in the business sector, whose advice was sought after by national and community leaders, and whose personality and character are admired by his colleagues.
Known to be the master strategist. A master strategist, as far as we are concerned, he's not the one thinking of how to hit back at the other opponent, but his thinking is how to solve the problem peacefully, amicably, so that everybody will be happy. Anytime na may problema, lalapitan mo siya, he will give you a big smile and will say, let's think about it. That's the Yao Shiong Shio brand of leadership. He's being called Lawe. Lawe in Chinese is Tanda. Tanda not because, yes, partly because he's senior in age. He is being called Lawe because Lawe meaning literally it's Tanda. But that is a name given to a person not only senior in age but senior in experience. Parang ginagalang mo siya. Is the wise man, wise old man, let's put it that way.
So he's the grand old man, the wise man of the chamber. You just have to admire his wisdom, and he is very devoted, very much devoted to the public welfare of the community. No?
In every way possible, YSS showed great generosity to those in need and was active in public service. He was a devout Buddhist and a supporter of temples and education.
Karamihan, he joined in the turnover school building. He joined in seminars to encourage tax consciousness. He joined in all this medical mission like that. As long as may oras siya and he's not out of the country, he will join us, no? And giving the young guys a boost, no? That you have to really work hard and work sincerely to help.
He's such a kind man. He helps the community. Okay, for the Catholic community, he contributes for them to build the church. Here in Manila, he himself is a Buddhist. He also, not just after the ceremonial Buddhism, no? He was trying to help the education. That's why the temples, the Buddhist temples here establish schools with Mr. Yao as the major contributor, the benefactor, no? And also, how do you call this? Even in the operations, you can see Mr. Yao was always chairman of the board, etc. Try to see to it that the education was really carried on in a good way, no? So you will see that yes, he is also a very great contributor to education.
Mr. Yao Shiong Shio is a very humble people. Every time when you ask something him to help, he always okay with him. And then he will call me when she had give the check, and then tell me he will call her driver to pick me up to get the check. So whatever Sakya want or need something, she will be the one to donate. He's the one also very interested in sport. So that's why our Sakya sport from track and field always champion.
Yao Shiong Shio is most remembered for strong admiration for the Philippines and for wanting the local Chinese and the Filipinos to be a united society. As the leader of the mixed-race community, he was instrumental in the assimilation of the Chinese into the Filipino community.
Ang talagang nasa puso niya, the Philippines is my only country. and really genuine love for this country, and he would like full assimilation of the Chinese here into the Philippine body politic. Sabi niya, love this country as your own and really to help so that this country will become prosperous.
Especially it was during his rule as president in 1975 that the mass naturalization occurred. No? And under his leadership, he was able to encourage most of the Chinese, the local Chinese, to apply for citizenship under the presidential decree and become part of the Philippine society.
But his efforts to integrate the Chinese to the local community proved to be one of the most challenging for YSS. In 1975, former Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos issued the decree to mass naturalize the local Chinese to assure their allegiance to the Filipino government before establishing diplomatic relations with the then communist China. Because of his firm determination to pursue the Chinese integration to the local community, FFCCCII President Yao had to endure threats and became a victim of slander.
And because of that, majority of the local Chinese became Filipinos. That's why Mr. Yao was saying that, okay, since we become Filipino citizens, we should pledge our allegiance to Philippines. We should pay respect only to Philippine flag. But you should see Mr. Yao's intention. Aside from bringing the Chinese to be assimilated into the Filipino community, he is also after the safety of the local Chinese. Because in the 50s, we all know, in the 50s, there were so many local Chinese arrested for being communist suspects. 1969, you have the big massacre of Chinese in Indonesia because of being so-called communist inclination or something like that, you see. That's why all these shadows really are something to be worried in the local community. So Mr. Yao suffered that kind of attacks from everybody, from those radicals. He said, no, right now for the sake of the community, for the sake of the Philippines, we have to pay allegiance to the Philippines only. No more Taiwan, no Beijing. You see, that I say that he exemplifies a very excellent and excellent leader during the time of crisis. You can see how much the old man sacrificed himself for the community, how much he swallowed those criticisms, unreasonable blames and criticisms, without any how do you call this, complaints. Why? Just for the community.
An optimistic businessman, a man of few words, an icon worth of praise. There are just too many ways to describe the late Yao Naikun and his legacy. For all of his dedicated service and selfless contributions, he will always be remembered as the one who shaped the integral Chinese-Filipino community to what it has become today.
People attack him, harass him. Well, I know that he must be not feeling well, but inside. But you can still see smiles on his face. He was patient. That's why I always describe him as a bamboo. Bamboo, when strong winds blow, it bends. It bends. But soon after the wind, it comes back. Mr. Yao is really one of the few leaders whom you can really see that kind of patience, tolerance. There's just too many to learn from him.